Hi, hello, good morning. It's a very basic greeting for everyone. It's basically a verbal handshake, so I'd like to start every day, every morning, especially a gathering like this with a simple hi and hello. Sabi ko nga, it's a verbal handshake. And when we say it's a handshake, it's like reaching out your hand to someone and opening yourself to what the other has to offer. So before we start, I'd like to request everyone to, kasi it's a very diverse group. Marami sa atin hindi magkakakilala. Can you please say hi to anyone who meets your eye this morning? Hi. Hello. Kung gusto niyo pa-cute, hello po. Just to clear the air out, dahil today we will be talking about something very real. It's something very important. It's all about democracy at stake, battling against systematic disinformation in the Philippines. So to start the program, may we request everyone to please rise for the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, hanap ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kaya't ka nang magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simulan, sa langit pang bagha, may dinagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na natinig, ang bituin na taraw ng kailan, bagay di magdidilim, lupa ng harangan, way hatid pagsinta, way langit sa piling mo, aming likaya na pa, ay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
To formally start the program and welcome everyone to the Makluhan Forum, may we call on the Dean of the College of Arts and Communication, UP Baguio, Dean Jimmy B. Fong.
Hello. On behalf of Chancellor Corazon Abansi, welcome back to UP Baguio. To all our visitors from other institutions in Baguio, welcome. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. We are grateful to the Embassy of Canada through its Public Affairs Attaché Carlo Figueroa for resuming and bringing back the Makluhan Forum on Responsible Media. Thank you very much for transporting to Baguio our panelists this morning. Our three distinguished panelists, who will be properly introduced, are frontliners in the field of facts and in our common search for truth. We are also joined by local media professionals and our own communication professor serving as reactors. Herbert Marshall McLuhan is probably one of Canada's great exports. McLuhan is known for such popular phrases as the medium is the message, and its flip side, the medium is the massage, and the global village. In an obituary on January 1st, 1983, the day after McLuhan died in his sleep, the New York Times quoted McLuhan as saying, "Most people are alive in an earlier time, but you must be alive in our own time." I think that what he meant by this was that we should not sleepwalk through the present, but that we should make sure that we are aware and critical of the things going on around us. Before woke became such a popular word, we have been using here at UP the Filipino word mulat. Hindi dilat, iba yun, to describe the ideal UP student. This should be the primary reason we are here today. To be mulat is important because according to McLuhan, the way we acquire information affects us more than the information itself. So, be careful what will happen to you after this morning. Have a great morning, everyone.
Thank you, Dean Jimmy. Before we proceed with the opening remarks of our special guest and the introduction of our guest speakers, we would like to inform everyone that all questions will be accommodated at the end of all the presentations. To officially introduce our guest speakers, let us all welcome the Public Affairs Attaché from the Embassy of Canada, Mr. Carlo Figueroa.
Thank you. Good morning. Dean Jimmy, Dr. Orville, students of various universities here in Baguio. Good morning, magandang umaga. It's a pleasure for me to welcome everyone to this special edition of the McLuhan Forum on Responsible Media. It's good to be back. We were supposed to be here in March 2020, right? But that was the day when the lockdown was announced. So we were ready. One of our speakers for this morning was actually supposed to also present that day. We were ready, but lockdown started that week. Anyway, before I introduce our speakers, let me just give a few words to contextualize why we're here this morning. It's a special edition of the McLuhan Forum, since we have with us today not just our incumbent McLuhan Fellow, but two more outstanding journalists who have received the McLuhan Fellowship in the past. The McLuhan Fellowship, if you may not know, was first awarded by the Canadian Embassy in 1997, and we celebrated last year our 25th anniversary to recognize excellence in Philippine journalism. Through the years, we are proud of our pool of journalists who have received this distinction and this recognition for being some of the best in the industry. We see this annual forum not just as a venue to celebrate excellence in local media, but more so as an opportunity to show the public that maintaining a strong respect for democratic governance is best exemplified by a free and responsible media. In one of his speeches, you may know Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. He said in one of his speeches, open quote, "Our countries and our world are stronger and more peaceful when all people can make their voices heard and when everyone's rights are protected." Close quote. Making people's voices heard is indispensable to a culture of democracy and good governance, whether in Manila, whether here in Baguio, or in Mindanao, or in Canada. The role of a responsible media to help make those voices heard is as well undeniable. In times like this, when fundamental freedoms and human rights may be compromised, it's the role of a capable, skilled, and responsible media not to shirk from its role to report and its role as a watchdog. So we at the Embassy of Canada strongly support a media that has a character to ask questions and investigate and then report their findings responsibly. We recognize as well the threats experienced by local journalists, including the practitioners here in Baguio and in the Cordilleras, and we admire them for their courage. Our speaker's work this morning is commendable for exerting effort to be a constant source of excellent reporting. Our incumbent McLuhan Fellow is known to many of you. Christian Esguerra is a political journalist, multimedia anchor, and journalism educator. He is currently the anchor and producer of Facts First, a popular online political talk show tackling burning issues on politics and governance. He himself is devoted to an advocacy to combating disinformation, and he was previously an anchor and managing editor of the hard-hitting political talk program After the Fact on the ABS-CBN news channel. He began his career as a reporter with the Philippine Daily Inquirer and then joined ABS-CBN as a news correspondent in 2015. He teaches political reporting and journalism ethics at the University of Santo Tomas, where he is also a researcher at its Research Center for Culture, Arts, and the Humanities. Ms. Ellen Tordesillas is the president of the independent news organization Vera Files. And currently, she is also a member of the board of directors of the International Fact-Checking Network, responsible to assess news outlets that would like to seek accreditation as international fact-checkers. Millions of readers continue to visit her blog. She's one of the most read columnists and bloggers in the country today. Ellen was McLuhan Fellow in 1998. Manny Mogato is a retired longtime correspondent of Reuters, and winner of the prestigious Pulitzer Prize for International Reporting in 2017. He won the Pulitzer Prize for their team's reportage on on then President Duterte's drug war. A three-time president of the Foreign Correspondents Association of the Philippines. He is also currently editor-at-large of News 5, and until recently a co-host of the popular TV show Wag Po. He is lecturing in, Manny, is it still 3 journalism schools or just, UST na lang. He is a lecturer at UST as well, but before at PLM, Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila. Manny was McLuhan Fellow in 2017, the first Filipino correspondent for an international news agency to receive the McLuhan recognition. Collectively, the work of our speakers is commendable for raising the bar in Philippine journalism. Their work shows us how responsible journalism makes a vital contribution to elevating the social discourse and issues with national and international importance. In closing, may I just thank the warm accommodation of the University of the Philippines, Baguio, for sharing with us the enthusiasm and this common advocacy to promote an aware and media literate citizenry. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Figueroa, and we are honored as well. May we now invite all the speakers to come up the stage sa sofa po, to be seated at the sofa. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand to our speakers for today. Again, welcome to McLuhan Forum Series on Responsible Media. Our first speaker is the anchor and producer of Facts First. Please welcome McLuhan Fellow 2020, Mr. Christian Esguerra.
Good morning to all of you. It's really a big honor to speak before you, mga taga-UP. So, excuse me for being so casual with the way I dress up this morning. Sabi ko, UP naman, no? So you don't care about, wag lang nakahubad siguro, no? Anyway, so, again, it's an honor to be speaking before you. Pero, I have to tell you, we will be talking about a lot of bad news this morning. And I'm really happy that I'm in the company of 2 veterans, 2 fellow journalists who I look up to. Na ngayon, pwede na kami mag-first name basis. But when I was growing up, I was looking up to them. Not to age them, but to actually honor them because of the body of work that they do. Because that's how journalists operate. We talk through our body of work, not through our TikTok videos or through our for the clout efforts on social media. We are supposed to let our body of work do the talking. Anyway, so this morning, I'll try to keep it short but not sweet. My discussion on how disinformation is eating up into the very fabric of our democracy. Pero meron din tayong assignment para sa inyo. Hindi lang kami. Okay? Because we've been hearing a lot about fact-checking, how to make people care about the facts. I hope, since this is understandably, I suppose, mostly an echo chamber, tayo-tayo nagkakausap dito. So assignment natin after this, we try to reach out to others, fellow Filipinos, and make them, number 1, also care about the facts. And number 2, make them do the fact-checking themselves. Hindi siya yung one-way spoon-feeding approach. Now, speaking of facts, no, we've been hearing about the facts. Yung program ko, ang pangalan, Facts First, before sa ANC, after the fact. Puro fact, no? Pero tanongin natin, do we still care about the facts, really? Do Filipinos care about the facts? Sa tingin ko, yun yung mga basic na questions na dapat tinatanong natin. Now, I suppose all of us care about the facts because this is a function of logic and necessity. Without the facts, how can we operate? How would you know that I'm Christian Esguerra, he's Manny Mogato, she is Ellen Tordesillas? Facts requires trust. Facts require trust, right? So para alam natin na we are in UP Baguio, kayo estudyante, hindi kayo imposters, hindi kami imposters, no? But when you talk about let's say, knowing what the weather would be tomorrow or this afternoon. We care about the facts. Facts about what we want to eat, others, others' likes or dislikes. But when it comes to political facts, sometimes or most of the time, the discourse is very much convoluted. The discourse is basically messed up. Lahat naman ito lumalabas sa mga previous surveys. When people talk about facts, we care about the facts. But when it comes to political facts, everything goes haywire. Kanya-kanya na yung facts, no? We're very much partisan with our predispositions, understandably. So that is, I think, one of the biggest, if not the biggest problems we are confronting now. Disinformation is the underlying problem of everything. But the main manifestation is the intense polarization that we are all experiencing. Although sasabihin syempre ng 31 million, polarized lang sa perspective nyo. Kasi talo kayo eh. Iyak na lang, di ba? Pero sa amin, unified kami. But of course, if you look at the 31 million voters of the current president, sila mismo nabibiyak ngayon, di ba? So you have to accept the fact, number one, that we are a very polarized, a very fractured society when it comes to political news. And this is where we have to do much of the heavy lifting. Okay? Yun. So, papasadahan ko lang ng konti para mas ma-depress tayo sa situation natin. More bad news. Ito naman talaga yung situation natin ngayon, di ba? So we have media under siege. We have a culture of impunity. And then underlying all these things, or all these problems, is a problem of disinformation. Of course, I don't have to detail them, although mamaya ako meron time, di ba? Can you imagine the biggest network in the Philippines shut down on free TV and free radio, ABS-CBN? That used to be unimaginable, but that happened. Before that, the Philippine Daily Inquirer was pressured because of a skeleton in its closet. But of course, that was not an excuse. Actually, pressure that news organization, which was doing more good than harm, as all other news organizations. And of course, you know, the continuing campaign against news organizations that did not toe the line of the previous administration. Of course, you have to remember Rappler, Verifiles, lahat. We're all feeling this pressure. Okay? Next slide, please. So, when you talk about the problem of news organizations, the problems that they confronted during the previous administration, much of those problems had to do with media ownership structures. Diba? Kasi yung mga journalists, yung mga frontliners, if you ask people from ABS-CBN, from the community papers, for instance, mas maraming matatapang kaysa sa mga duwag. But if you look at how the news organizations covered the Duterte administration, especially during the early part, marami bahagyong buntot. Many of them were timid. Takot, duwag. Bakit? Yung mga journalists na frontliners, matatapang eh. Because I suppose most of you are journal students, no? Tsaka mass comm. Alam nyo naman siguro na yung pinapasok nyo industry, maraming intangibles eh. And those intangibles also include non-negotiables. Ano yung non-negotiables? Pag wala kang sense of purpose, as in life, you cannot survive in this industry. So if you look at the veterans in our midst now, kaya na magsabi ko ilang taon ako sa industry, pero I really look up to the veterans eh. Because ngayon, nakikita niyo siguro yung trend ng mga journalists, no? After 1-2 years, lipat ng trabaho, mag-PPR o lilipat because of many different reasons, and you cannot blame them. A big part of what would push them out of the industry is if the sense of purpose suddenly goes missing. Nawawalan ka ng sense of purpose. Bakit ba ginagawa yung ginagawa mo? So, dito, for instance, media news organizations, yung mga media owners, they have their own interest. I have a front row seat experience on how media owners actually stifled freedom of the press within ABS-CBN itself. How the owner actually censored ABS-CBN's journalism. Diba? ABS-CBN, hindi na nga matapang, diba? Sorry, medyo frank ako, no? So hindi naman matapang to begin with ng journalism ng ABS-CBN, especially under the Duterte administration, na censor pa from within and from the outside. So you can imagine what kind of frustration was brewing or building up within the news organization, especially if you talk with the many good journalists within the news organization. And this was not exclusive to ABS-CBN. Ramdam to buong industry. Although napapansin natin, bumabalik yung we're recovering our bearings, medyo mas tumatapang uli, bumabalik on how journalism should be. I remember during the time of President Noynoy Aquino, ang complaint ko rin noon as a journalist, I was with the Inquirer then, sabi ko, I thought yung honeymoon, one year lang or first 100 days. Bakit nung panahon ni Noynoy Aquino, yung honeymoon, 2015 na, honeymoon pa rin Mabait pa rin yung Inquirer, for instance, and other news organizations. But when I experienced the Duterte administration and how it dealt with the news media na ayaw niya, nagalit siya, it was not a honeymoon It was, tawag dito, domestic abuse. If I were to use that metaphor. Kumbaga, kung meron kang metaphor na asawa niya yung news organizations, hindi honeymoon ang pinag-usapan Domestic abuse. Kasi hanggang sa kaduluduluhan, binubugbog niya yung news organization tsaka yung press freedom That's how it was during the Duterte administration. Of course, cyber libel, hanggang ngayon, ginagamit siya sa atin as a threat. Next slide, please. Eto, nakita natin to before. I just want to somehow emphasize this to today's audience. Yung nadidinig natin before ng mga troll farms, these are basically called line troll networks when you talk about the propagandists. So, ang isang LTN, eto galing to sa mga insiders. Nakuha ko yan from the propagandists themselves. People who were running the troll farms or LTNs. Usually, an LTN is a group of 50 trolls working under a moderator. A moderator na nasa 35 to 50,000 daw ang sweldo a month. And then yung mga trolls nila, they can earn between 15 and 20,000 pesos. And it doesn't have to be their main job. Pwedeng sideline lang. Pwede sigurong call center agent ka, pwede sigurong reporter ka, pwedeng secretary ka, pero meron kang side job. Being member of an LTN. And you can come up with multiple accounts. Ang trabaho mo, kung medyo mabait yung nag-hire sa'yo, pwedeng i-defend mo lang siya from other attacks. Pero why would you settle with defense when you can also do offense? Pwede ka namang manira wala ka namang identity. So, sabi ko, magkano ba yan? It depends on the context. It depends on, let's say, a candidate. Depends on the competition involved. Sabi, usually, you would have to spend up to 400,000 per line troll network, depending on the service and the time of the year, kung kailan mo siya gagamitin. So the next elections will be in 2025, the midterm elections. So yung mga magpapapansin para tumakbo sa 2025, ngayon pa lang may mga LTNs na yan. Okay? Next slide, please. Ayan. Ito lagi ko siya binabanggit sa mga talk because I think this group of researchers from UP Diliman did a lot of great work in terms of exposing what has been happening for a while in our social media platforms, in particular YouTube. Pero silang tinatawag na yung meta-partisan news ecosystems. Example. Next slide. Ito yan, example. Di ba dati, ang turo sa atin sa journalism, you have to build your credibility, you have to follow a certain set of standards, verification, which is a discipline, before you can come up with something. In short, bago ka kumuda, dapat mag-research ka muna. Okay? Yun ang ginagawa natin because we follow standards. Pero ang kalaban natin, they don't abide by those standards. Ito yung tinatawag natin mga pseudo-commentators. What do they need? Kapal na mukha. Actually, hindi nga pera Kailangan ng internet connection. Basta may internet connection, miskin nakiki-wifi lang, tapos kailangan na ng pader. Para tatayo sila ron, and then we'll start with, "Hi guys." Those are the ingredients for this particular technique. Okay, tingnan niyo yung niya. Si Ka-Coffee, 202,000 subscribers on YouTube. Okay? Ako, I migrated to YouTube after I was axed sa ABS-CBN. Okay? Last year. So, nakaka 1 year na ako, I migrated to YouTube. Doon ko dinala yung program. Yung Facts First, that was the title of my explainer segment before sa ANC. Kinuha ko kasi nung tinanggal ako, sabi ko, nyo na ba yung tawag dito? Yung kinopyright nyo ba yung yung title after the fact? Copyrighted na, so hindi ko madadala. Sabi ko, yung Facts First, hindi raw, dinala ko na. Okay? So, I built that program. Unfortunately don't take this in the wrong way. Umabot siya ngayon ng 120,000 subscribers. Malaki, no? Sabihin ng iba, yabang mo, no? Kaya ako siya binabanggit, not because that was the intention. Gusto ko ipakita yung paano kami natatalo. I built that for 1 year. Paano ka naman sasabay kay Ka-Coffee? 202,000. Tapos, meron siyang video, ang niyayari ako, 86,000 views. Nag-average ako ng mga 50 to 60 views. Ito, 85. Yung next slide. Eto, si Pinas Insider, 306,000. This was last year, ha? So, paano ka sasabay sa kanila? Kahit na Ted Filon ka, kahit na Kabayan ka, kahit na Corinne Sanchez ka, you have your work cut out for you. You're dealing with people who do not abide by the set of standards that journalists are supposed to abide by, yet you are losing to them in terms of public discourse. Meron silang sariling set of followers eh. Yun ang isang challenge ngayon eh. Ako, for instance, nakikita ko yung audience eh. Alam ko yung nanonood ng program yun sa akin every thrice a week. Alam ko kung sino yung pinapanood nila eh. Nakikita ko yung subscriber base. At ang challenge is how to penetrate others belonging to other information bubbles. Yung parallel universe. Yung tinatawag din ng multiverse. Ang hirap i-penetrate kasi set yung utak nila when it comes to politics. That's why last week, I decided to introduce a new, medyo matrabaho lang. Yung parang sobrang makamasang pagpapaliwanag ng difference between information at balita. Ilang, basic na paliwanag lang. Bakit hindi lahat ng impormasyon balita, pero lahat ng balita impormasyon? So fortunately, tinitingnan ko yung analytics, nape-penetrate yung iba. Pero syempre, makita pala yung pagmumukha ko rin. Sasabihin, anti-Duterte ka, anti-Marcos ka. Diba? Hindi nila nakikita na yung trabaho ng journalist, ibahin mo yung presidente, dapat ganoon din yung same kind of critical reporting that we're seeing. So kunwari, iba yung presidenteng nanalo noong 2022, tapos ang reporting namin biglang bumait. Bigla naming hinimod yung presidente. Wala kaming kwentang journalist. That's a difference eh. So yung mga basic things na yan, I hope makatulong kayo because you have to explain all these things to them. Yeah. Now, is the situation better now under Marcos? Of course. I have to admit, it's better. But I have to put that in context. Baka gulat kayo, uy, okay na ba? Pro Marcos na ba siya? Wala na yung late night press conferences eh. Wala na yung unpredictability. Wala na nagmumurang presidente. Wala na nang babastos. Wala nang pumipitong presidente, pinipituhan yung babaeng reporter. I was there, pinituhan yung taga-GMA7. So nabawasan yung kababuyan at kabastusan ng taong nasa pinakaitaas. But does that make our situation better? I don't think so. Because even if whoever would have won, let's say in 2022, kahit sinong presidente pa yan, wala na siyang kailangan gawin eh. By simply existing, things would get better. Because nawala yung very reason of why we were suffering all this time. Alam niyo yun, tumayo ka lang ganyan, huminga ka, things would get better. Kasi nawala yung pinaka-cause eh. Diba? Nawala yung toxic element in the room. But, here's the catch. The same chilling effect remains in news organizations. Ang worst pa nga dito, ang ginawa ni Duterte, yung template, sinet out na niya. Imagine you were able to shut down the biggest network on free TV and free radio without even sending your troops to shut down or to padlock the office of ABS-CBN. Minura mo lang, tinakot mo lang, ginamit mo yung mga aliporis mo sa Congress, okay na eh. So tipid, di ba? So hindi ka pa ganun kasama kasi hindi mo pinadala yung sundalo. But much worse is the situation. We know that the worst form of censorship is self-censorship. And this is what's happening now across newsrooms. Di ba yung pinag-usapan namin kanina, yung lumabas sa, di ba, sa CNN Philippines before, pumutok yung balita na pinipigilan silang gamitin yung the late dictator, son of the dictator. Dapat daw, son of the late strongman. Ako naman I agree. Again, in context, hindi mo naman pwedeng gamitin lagi son of the late dictator kung walang kaugnayan sa issue. For example, the son of the late dictator yesterday announced that Ramadan would be holiday. Ano naman kinalaman nun sa pagiging anak niya ng dating diktador? Pero pag may relation, wag na naman natin i-language engineering. Kasi in journalism, di ba, we call a spade a spade. If it's BS, it's BS. Pero mind you, hindi na sa CN pumuputok yun. I was experiencing that also before, nung nagsusulat ako online sa ABS. Because lumaki ako, nung pumasok ko sa Industry 2000, di ba 2003 Supreme Court decision, na merong ill-gotten wealth yung mga Marcoses, tapos pinabalik, di ba? Yung nasa escrow account na more than $650 million in Swiss bank deposits. Binalik in favor of the government. Set na sa utak ko eh. Because nandun yung evidence na magnanako yung mga Marcos. Because the term was used not by me, not by the reporters, but by the Supreme Court in the decision. Ill-gotten. Yan, may bala na kayo. Pag meron nakikipag-debate sa inyo, di ba? Paano nyo nasabi may ill-gotten wealth? 2003 Supreme Court decision. Pwedeng i-google. Screenshot nyo na. Which brings me to my point. Patapos na tayo. Kahit na gawin nyo yun, and I've tried that many times, you still cannot force people to care about the facts. They still do not care. And this is an ongoing frustration among many journalists. Usapan natin yung existing tools against disinformation. Number one, ang pinaka-common dyan, of course, fact-checking. But the problem is this. How sure are we that the intended consumers of our fact checks are actually getting the information they need? Kasi kayo, alam niyo naman yung facts di ba? Actually, pwede rin naman tayo lahat maloko sa totoo lang, di ba? Pero ang gusto natin, matutunan ng kabila, o ng mga nasa ibang information bubbles, kung yung katotohanan, I don't think they would bother to read through the fact-check articles. Pag nakita nila, finact-check ng Rappler, may kulay yan. Finact-check ng ABS, finact-check ng Vera, finact-check ng TV5, may kulay na agad Now, the challenge is, how do you pierce through that gate, that bubble? How do you make them care? Kasi it's very frustrating, di ba? So I've been advocating that we have to make it more sophisticated, the way we do fact-checking. Because it worked then. Same questions that we're raising now regarding the efficacy of fact-checking, these are also the same questions raised in Argentina, yung Chequeado. And they commissioned a study. Gusto nilang malaman, tumatagos ba yung fact-check namin? And, ang sabi nila, kahit ano lumabas dyan, ilalabas namin publicly yung resulta. Fortunately, meron palang effect yung fact-checking. Hindi man nila nabago yung pag-iisip ng ibang mga tao, pero at least they were able to achieve a very important end, which was to make people pause. Kumbaga, pag nag-fact-check pala sila at nabasa yon, lumabas na sa survey nila at sa pag-aaral, yung mga dating share agad, nag-aano muna, nagpo-pause mo. Share kasi merong warning o kaya may fact-check. So I hope we can do something similar to that in the Philippines. Ito yung binabanggit ko. This is the menu of options currently available here and abroad on how to deal with disinformation. And I tell you, they're not enough kasi mas mabilis kumalat yung disinformation, di ba? Nag-uusapan natin platform accountability, which is very, very important because we're dealing with outlets that are private companies that suddenly found themselves dealing with the public good, which is information. Kasi negosyante sila They realize na hawak pa rin yung public good at apektado yung takbo ng demokrasya sa iba't ibang bansa. So dito, platform accountability is very important. Ito, a very simple question. How do you know na yung lumalabas na recommended video sa YouTube? May prosesong dinadaanan. Of course, may process yun, di ba? Pero hindi natin alam. Because YouTube, Google, they're not being forthright about it. Di ba? And mostly, ang approach doon is marketing and profit-driven. Next, disinformation investigation and reporting. Ito kasalanan din namin sa media. Late namin in-acknowledge na we have to report about ourselves. Because we are so used to the idea that, again, we work through our body of work. We should not be in the news. Hindi natin sinasadya Yung dating presidente, again, figuratively, hinatak yung media, nilagay sa gitna, pinagmumura. So, naging balita. So, naging late in the game tayo in terms of reporting disinformation. But fortunately, we have been doing that more frequently and more deeply. That's why you see, nire-report na rin namin yung mga propagandists working behind the scenes, paano tumatakbo yung mga line troll networks. Then, of course, civic education, which is the long game. And hindi ko na siya expand, sobrang haba. Pwede entire course siya, no? Importance sa civic education. Gusto ko lang mas maging depressed pa kayo dito sa part na to. Civic education. Ang pinaka-importante civic education school system. And fortunately for you, you are part of the school system. But what about those who are not within the school system? Where do they get their education? And even the term education has been used or weaponized against those trying to educate others. It's now seen as condescending. Kaya yung voter education, it's being re-examined for us not to use voter education. Kasi lumalabas sa para bang, kayo na matalino. Kailangan nyo magturo. Sa media, yung education, media information literacy, para maging literate ang isang tao, kailangan mong educate, di ba? Pero yung education as a term, ginagamit na to go against us. Even fact-checking has been labeled as something that is a tool of the opposition. Kaya nga, meron nila mga fact-checkers yung kabila, di ba? Ang tawag ko doon, fake checkers. Pero they're also doing that. Di ba? Now yun last, yung legislation, nasa bottom yan because this is not supposed to be the route that we should take. Currently, there are at least 2 bills pending in the Senate and in the House of Representatives seeking to penalize the spread of fake news. Ito yung sana ipaliwanag nyo rin sa mga makakausap nyo. Kasi ang daling sabihin na, uy, tama yan, dapat may batas laban sa fake news, quote-unquote. Ang problema, ano ba yung fake news? May definition sa bill na yan. Napakahikli ng bill na yan. You can search that sa senate.gov.ph at sa congress.gov.ph. Yung promotor sa Senado si Jinggoy Estrada. Meron definition doon ng fake news, napakasimple. Ang next question, who will determine whether a piece of information is fake? Imagine, let's say, kayo magreklamo kayo, let's say, sa mayor or sa congressman or sa governor. Huwag na tayong pumunta sa presidente. Kunwari sinabi nyo, meron kayong picture na nakuha, shinare sa inyo. Daming basura sa kalye, hindi kinokolekta. Sinabi nyo, walang kwenta yung mayor. Ginawa, ni-research. Tinignan yung picture nyo. Let's say yung picture taken from the same event or from the same situation, let's say kinunan 5 days after. Nakolekta na pala, or before, pero nakolekta na. Pwede kayong habulin, di ba? Nagkapakalat ka ng fake information, sinisiraan mo yung mayor natin. Simple things like that will make you realize that a piece of legislation against fake information can actually be used to go against people. Parang binibigyan mo ng additional arsenal or armament yung gobyerno to use against us. So, yun yung nakakatakot. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Christian Esguerra, McLuhan Fellow 2020. So the question remains, are existing tools enough against disinformation? From fact-checking, platform accountability, disinformation, investigation and reporting, civic education, and legislation. The next speaker is the president of Verifiles. Please welcome McLuhan Fellow 1998, Ms. Ellen Tordesillas.
Magandang umaga sa lahat. It's good to be back, you know. Dean. I see familiar faces. Si Frank. si Brit. si Kim, kita Sol. Ay, wala na si Maria, no? Si Pinky, I have you. So, I think I was here before the pandemic, no? Oo, for the democracy and disinformation. Oo. So, saka gustong-gusto ko tong lugar nyo eh. I always tell everybody, no, ang ganda-ganda ng yung setup nyo, including sa labas. So, Christian already mentioned about fact-checking, and in fact, nag-uumpisa na rin kasing sinisiraan yung nagiging kontrabida pa ngayon ng fact-checking for parang kami pa ngayon, ang mga fact-checkers pa ngayon ang biniblame why bakit nagko-continue nag-spread ang disinformation, parang gano'n. So anyway, let's talk about fact-checking. There is nothing novel or fancy about fact-checking, you know. Well, as the term itself says, well, it is checking the facts, di ba? It's sold as journalism actually, which is since time immemorial, yung journalism naman kasi the fact that you inform people about what is happening, that's journalism. So in the traditional journalism, yung we check facts before it is published, di ba? Ganon. Kasi wala pa ng mga internet noon. So sa newsroom, yung mga reporters, we cover in the morning, tapos we file our stories, tapos the editors make sure that we verify. Yung mantra kasi ng journalism talaga is verify, verify. That's fact-checking, no? You make sure that what you put out, lalabas the next day, is accurate and correct. Ganon. So, kasi pag lumabas kasi pag magkalat na kasi yung news, mas malaki ang harm nung maling information kaysa yung walang, yung hindi mo binalita. Ganon. Yun. Ngayon, with the advent of yan, but social media has made fact-checking a necessity. Ano ba yung fact-checking? Kasi di ba dati, we verify before. But yung with social media kasi, now everybody can be a writer, an editor, and a publisher rolled into one. Dati kasi sa old journalism kasi, merong reporter, merong editor, merong yung editor pa yan, maraming ano pa yan, ilang levels pa yan bago lumabas. With social media, yung nature kasi ng social media is that anybody can be a writer, an editor, and a publisher rolled into one. So, ikaw gagawa ng storya, ikaw ang mag-check, ikaw din ang magpa-publish. So, yung pag-check, iba-iba kasi yung may extra eye na magtitingin. Nawala na yon. So maraming mali-mali. Yan na, sinasabi pa natin yan yung mali na hindi sadya, di ba? Marami na ngayon yun, may yung gumagawa ng maling story na sadya, di ba? May mga may mali siya, may malevolent forces. So pag samasamahin mo yan, kaya ang social media nagiging toxic. When we speak of social media, we speak of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, tapos ano pa ba? Basta yun ang lahat ang social media. So ngayon ang nangyayari because of nagiging toxic na ang dami-daming disinformation, and I do not know, disinformation is so is bad. It's so evil. It confuses us, and it affects it doesn't only affect us personally, but it affects the nation. Kasi yung decision natin, all our decisions are based on the information that we get. Pag mali yung information natin, mali yung decision natin. From the simplest things like bibili ba ako, anong shampoo ang bibilhin ko, 'di ba ganon? Pag maniniwala ka sa maling advertisement, so mali yung shampoo na bibilhin mo. Like saan ako mag-aaral, di ba? So the information that you get is the decision that you make is based on the information that you get. Tapos hanggang sa sino yung pag election, sino yung bubutuhin ko, di ba? So nakaka-affect yan lahat from yung decisions that determines our daily life at saka yung bayan natin. So importante na tama yung informasyon na nakukuha natin. So with social media, nagiging mahirap na yon. So nangyayari with dahil sa dami-daming maling-maling story, nagkaroon na ng fact-checking. Ang fact-checking is we do the verifying after the information has been out. So mas mahirap yun kasi di ba before sabi ko, we verify the information before we put out, di ba? Ito naman lumabas na. Ang hirap-hirap. Tapos yung nature pa naman ng social media is one, it's published real time. Ipopost mo ngayon, labas na yan ngayon. Hindi katulad noon na i-submit mo ngayon sa desk mo, bukas yan lalabas. Ngayon, talagang real time. Another thing is, it has no geographical boundaries. Yung internet, wala naman yan na pagdating sa Pilipinas, hanggang Pilipinas lang eh. Lahat yan. Ipopost mo sa Pilipinas, aabot siya sa Timbuktu, aabot siya sa Amerika, aabot sa Europe lahat. So, no geographical boundaries. So, ang powerful, ang lakas ng reach ng social media, ang haba ng reach niya. And, ang mahirap kasi it allows anonymity. Alam mo sa dyaryo, meron tayong mga byline. Akala kasi natin kasi yung byline is vanity, no? Kasi sikat ka pag may marami kang byline. Actually, byline is also accountability. Kasi kung sino yung nakasulat doon, yun ang makakasuhan, di ba? So, sa social media, pwedeng hindi mo lagay yung pangalan mo. Pwede ka nga maglagay ng ibang pangalan eh. Pwedeng BTS ang ilagay mo, di ba? Yung paborito na BTS, di ba? Pwede mo ilagay doon sa ba yung thumbnail, yung meme mo, ganon. So, you can hide behind anybody, behind an image, gano'n. So, pwedeng anonymity. So, you can do anything na wala kang accountability. that's very dangerous, di ba? Kaya nangyayari ngayon yung mga post na nakakasira, sinong kakasuhan mo? Di ba? Who will you bring to court? Yun ngayon ang isa yan sa mga legislation dahil yung mga politicians feeling nila sinisiraan sila, they want to bring to court sinong ano mo, merong ano diyan, merong ano ba to? Merong Wakanda na image. Paano mo dadalhin si Wakanda sa court, di ba? Ganon. So, yun ang problema ng sa social media, and that's where fact-checking becomes a necessity, di ba? Ganon. So, maraming dito sa Pilipinas, maraming nagpa-fact check, pero dalawa lang ang partner ng Facebook. Ang Facebook, bago ka kukunin ng dalawa lang, Verifiles at saka Rappler. Yung dito. Pag bago ka kukunin ng Facebook, kailangan member ka ng International Fact-Checking Network. Na-mention kanina ni Pablo. Yung IFCN is an international organization that sets the standard for fact-checkers. Merong code of principles na, well, you have to be a legal organization. So hindi pwede yung anonymous kasi kailangan importante yung legal organization. Tapos yung sources of funds mo dapat hindi ayaw nila sa gobyerno, di ba? Ganon. So dapat yung sources of funds mo allows you to freely do your job as a fact checker. Tapos non-partisanship, importante yan. Tapos you have to be transparent. You know, basta may standard ang IFCN. So, di sa Pilipinas, Verifiles ang unang na-accredit way back in 2018. 2018, ganon. Tapos, Rappler. Tapos, meron pang isa dito na nag-ooperate, Agence France Presse. Pero yung Agence France Presse kasi international yan eh. But last month, may dalawang bago na-accredit ang IFCN, yung Press One at saka Minda News. Ganon. So, meron pang ibang nag-a-apply. I hope later on. Ganon. So, ngayon, later on siguro baka kukunin din sila ng Facebook, no? Pag sa Facebook, pag nagpag-check kami ng Facebook, anong nangyayari? 'Di ba? Ito kasi sabi ng iba kasi wala naman nangyayari sa fact checking. Pag nag-fact check kami, may classification na binibigay ang Facebook like false, misleading, needs context, yun ang pinaka-basic na classification. Pag pinost, pag tinag namin yung isang post na, like sinabi, kunyari, ang marami talaga kasi, ang maraming mali-mali, yung maraming false, yung nagbibenta ng health-related. Kasi siguro dahil everybody, lahat naman tayo gusto natin ng health, di ba? So, yung, kunyari, itong inumin na to will make you, will make you slim in 10 days. Ganon, di ba? Maraming, ipag-ino namin yan, ito na lang, tuob. Di ba nung pandemic, sabi nila, yung tuob, pwede na yan gamot sa COVID, di ba? So, siyempre, pinack-check namin yan, hindi yan totoo. So, yung nag-post noon, pag pinost namin yung kanyang yan eh, makita mo yung nakita mo kanina yung sabi ni Christian, thousands yung views ng isang isang post. So pag maraming diyan, ipopost na namin, i-tag namin na false. Ang mangyayari diyan, ibababa yan ng Facebook. Pag namin. Hindi yan Facebook does not delete or block. Kami rin as fact checkers, we don't delete, we don't block. Itatag lang namin. Ibababa yan ng Facebook sa newsfeed nila. Hindi yan, nandun pa rin yan, pero hindi yan basta nakikita. Ganon. Pagka yung sila kasi yung kumikita yan per click. Can you imagine yung mga 200,000 ganon? Isang click yan sa isang araw. Ano yan? Ang kakilaki ng kita nila niyan. As in thousands and thousands and every month. Ganon. Yung kinikita ng mga sites na yan. Tapos, so pagka binaba yan, wala na yan masyadong nakakita. Hindi yan, walang masyadong nagkiklik. Hihina yung kita nila, kaya nagagalit yan sila. Ganon. So anyway, pag gusto pa rin nila yan is-share, kasi the more you share, yan, mag-click kayo share, ganon, the more nakikita sila. Pag natag na namin yan na false yan, tapos i-share pa rin nila, may magpa-pop out na advisory na this post has been tagged by Vera Files as false. It will lead you to our site kasi doon ini-explain namin, aside from just tagging it, we have to explain why it is false, di ba? Siyempre, bago kami ng false, namin yan, magko-consult kami sa expert, di ba? Bakit hindi tama, hindi sapat ang tuob against COVID, di ba? Nagdi-DOH pa kami. Nandun, required yan sa IFCN na yung sources mo, isa-cite mo kung saan nanggaling yung classification mo, kung saan mo kinuha. So, gano'n. So, pag palagi pa rin sila na, yung pupuntahan kung kanino sila mag-share, makakatanggap din ng ganong advisory. So, pagka hindi yan, later on, i-ignore niya, gagawa pa rin siya ng maling post, there will come a time na every now and then kasi Facebook takes down post, ganon. So, mati-take down ka. So, marami kaming natatanggap na either minumura kami or nakikiusap na hindi na ako uulit. Ay, pwede ba yun? Ganon. So, oo, ganon. So, ang gagawin namin, kasi sila, gagawin namin, mag-issue ka. You apologize, mag-issue ka, magsabi ka na nagkamali ako, sorry, ilalagay natin yan doon sa post mo. Ngayon, pwede namin tanggalin yung false na gayon. Pag magsabi ka na sorry, nagkamali ako, hindi tama yung ganon ko, ganon. So, yung iba naman, kasi kailangan nila kumita, kaya kailangan makabalik sila sa mainstream. Ganon. So, anyway, yan. So, ganon ang nangyayari. So, how effective it is? According to Facebook, yung kanyang may survey sila nung COVID, 95% of those who saw our tag did not share. So 95% mataas yun, di ba? Pero when it comes to political post, mukhang hindi, mukhang iba yun. Iba yung COVID-19, yung pandemic, mukhang iba yung ng tao. So, ngayon, yung 2022, yung 2022 election was a very, traumatic for many of us, sa amin sa Vera Files. But at the same time, it was a wake-up call for us, di ba? Kasi, yun nga, yung resulta. Ang dami-dami naming pinak-check na mga maling claim nung governor. And yet, ano nangyari, di ba? So, nagtaka kami. One example na lang, no? Yung Oxford diploma, di ba? Proud na proud kami doon sa aming fact check noon kasi nag-tie up kami sa Third World Studies, sa UP Third World Studies, di ba? Ang ganda-ganda ng documentation ng UP Third World Studies about yung diploma ni Bongbong. Sumulat pa kami sa Oxford, ganon. Pinick up pa ng Times of London yung storya namin, di ba? Ganon, proud na proud kami. Tapos pero may nagsabi sa amin, ano ngayon kung hindi siya nag-graduate? Ang sagot sa amin, ay ako hindi rin ako nag-graduate eh. See, nag-identify sila. Di ba, ganon. Tapos sabi ko, but that's not the point. Sabi ko, the point is he lied. Di ba, kinlaim niya doon sa kanyang CNATE biodata na nag-graduate siya. Sabi niya, bakit? Sino ba hindi nag-lie? Sino bang tao hindi never lied? Ay, mo na dismaya ako doon kasi, ganon na ba tayo? Christian kind of talked about yung yung facts, we don't care anymore about facts, ganon. Yung value natin ng, kasi I think that's what, if we have to fight this information, sa amin kasi, each one of us can be a fact checker, but first we have to value truthfulness, di ba? Yung, balik mo tayo doon, we have to value truthfulness. Kasi parang, ako ngayon pag sinabi niya, bakit? Lahat naman tayo nag-lie, ganon. Ganun lang ba yun? Natatanggap ba natin? Tapos, doon ko nare-realize na, alam mo, yung mga politicians, they knew about this, and they yung exploit nila ito, yung ng tao. Tapos, what you call it, yung nakita kasi namin yung tinulungan kami ni Manolo Quezon to look back how the Marcoses really worked on our minds, yung gano'n na hindi na natin hindi natin yung sila yung hindi sila nang aaway, yung ang ganda ng the way they approach us, gano'n. So anyway, so we should value truthfulness, not just yung, I think we should go back to that, gano'n. Tapos ang sabi namin siguro din, yung lesson din ng 2023 is, we have lived in a bubble eh. Kasi yung, it's so toxic na minsan, inaano na natin, di ba? Yung we shy away from people who don't agree with us. So, we live in a bubble. So, doon namin na-realize, doon ko na rin na-realize na nung nag-usap, nung na kami ng camp, na maraming ang mga tao na hindi kami nag-agree, pero dapat we should learn how to listen. So yun siguro yung isa yun sa namin. And when you listen, yung how do we listen? Yung isa din namin, we should go where they are, di ba? So tuloy na yan. We should go where the people are. So so to do that, kami sa Vera Files, natuto na rin kami, abutin lang may mga young people sa amin. Now we are into TikTok, di ba? Isa yan sa example. So, saan ba nakakarating yung fact check namin? Kasi yung fact check namin, sabi ng iba, masyadong academic. Hindi yung style namin, ganun. So, di ba, walang masyadong nagbabasa. Yung isa na, yung English pa, di ba? So, ngayon, tinatranslate na namin. So, kahit nung nagtatranslate kami, the way we translate it, academic pa rin yung dating, di ba? Ganon. So, isip kami ng isip. Tapos, itong mga bata, ito yung naisip nila na mga klaseng fact check. So, tingnan nyo. Tapos, next, isa.
You make me nervous.
Why?
I guess because I'm falling in love with you.
Okay, don't do that.
Kasi sibuyas, sa talampakan, laban sa rayuma, verified ba yan? Experts na mismo nagsabi mula sa UP Manila at PITAC na wala namang ebidensyang effective laban sa rayuma yung paglalagay ng hiniwang sibuyas sa talampakan. Hindi rin niya magagamot ang mataas na uric acid, ubo, sipon, lagnat. Kasi wala naman talagang gamot sa sipon. Sabi din niya ng experts ha. Ginagamit naman bilang traditional medicine ang pag-inom sa pinagpakuluan ng sibuyas para sa mga may ubo at lagnat.
Yung daw human rights violations ng ating mahal na Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Sr., lahat yan ay haka-haka at mga imbento. Haka-haka at mga imbento. Haka-haka at mga imbento.
Paulit-ulit na lang, 3 beses namin dinibunk yan ha. Libo-libo ang namatay sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni Marcos. No question na yan. Ilang beses nang na-document yan. Matagal nang napatunayan na maraming pinatay, dinukot, tinorture noong panahon ni Marcos. Nakatulan pa nga si Amy Marcos noon. May pananagutan yan sa isang aktivistang namatay noon. Basahin niyo yung fact check namin dyan. Ayun, nandiyan sa taas. O, i-google nyo na lang human rights violation during Marcos. Maraming lalabas.
Yun ang yung mga in-experiment namin ngayon para mas may makarating kami yun. Ayan. So, I hope you like it.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Ellen Tordesillas, McLuhan Fellow, 1998. Some of the takeaways from Ma'am Ellen: go where the people are, go back to the basics, and value truthfulness. Our final speaker is the editor-at-large of News 5. Please welcome McLuhan Fellow 2017, Mr. Manny Mogato.
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat, kay Dean, sa faculty, at sa inyong lahat, mga estudyante. nagkwento lang yung dalawang kasama ko. Ako naman, ibubor ko kayo sa babasahin ko. No? Yung journalists have been battling disinformation and misinformation from the time Rodrigo Duterte rose to power in 2016. It has been an uphill battle. Parang mahirap ipanalo. Siguro naman nakita niyo yung resulta ng 2022 elections, no? Ibon Chuba, yung kasama ni Ellen, is a fellow Marshall McLuhan Fellow and a colleague of Ellen at Vera Files, did a study on Philippine media for Reuters Institute for 3 consecutive years, from 2020, 21, and 22. No? At lumalabas sa kanyang survey na ang public trust sa legacy media o yung traditional media natin was a very low 27% to 37% compared to the global average of 42%. No? There was some good news. The trust rating improved 5 points from 2020 to 2021 and another 5 points from 2021 to 2022. Filipinos have started to return to reliable news outlets for accurate information during the pandemic. Yan. Ang galing, ano? Pandemic lang pala ang makakatalo sa disinformation, no? When it comes to political news, nako, bagsak pa rin tayo, no? Wala pa rin naniniwala sa legacy media, no? So many Filipinos still consider journalists as biased, dilawan, anti-government, and worse, communist sympathizers. Yan. Hindi lang nara-red tag, may inuhuli, dinidemanda, at, nako, may nakukulong pa. At, napapatay, no? Huwag na nating bilangin ang mga namatay na umabot sa 186 simula pa noong 1986. Nang mabawi natin ang kalayaan ng EDSA 1986. Kaya ko na isipin na tayo din ang nagbalik sa mga Marcos last year, no? Pero teka muna, hindi yan ang aking topic. Iba pala yung binigay sa akin ni Carlo. No? Today's topic is how do we fight disinformation? Can legislation help? What can we do? Or you can do to help the fight in disinformation? No? Gaano ba kalaki ang problema sa disinformation? Mayroong survey na ginawa ang Pulse Asia last year showing that 90% of Filipinos believe that disinformation was a problem in the country. Pero, ang mas malungkot, 40% ang naniniwala na ang mga journalist ang pinanggagalingan at nagpapakalat ng disinformation. Mas mataas pa sa ating mga politiko na kadalasang sinasabing fake news yung balita kapag hindi sila pabor sa ating reporting. No? Disinformation is not only a problem in the Philippines. It has become a global problem and many countries have also taken active measures against disinformation. Many countries are fighting disinformation by creating task forces to study, investigate, propose a course of action, including media literacy program, law enforcement, and legislating laws. There is a need for a unified front to stop disinformation. It should start in the schools through media literacy programs. We have a civic duty to educate our children and the people about the dangers of disinformation and the threats it poses to our democracy. Before looking at our situation, let's visit some of our neighbors in Southeast Asia. There are laws passed in Cambodia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam to penalize people spreading disinformation. Arrests had been made. Some were fined and jailed, and penalties were harsh. No? In the Philippines, 2 bills against disinformation have been filed in the Senate in the 19th Congress. No? Senate Bill 547, or the proposed anti-fake news, filed by Senator Grace Poe, seeks to amend the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees to further promote professionalism in information dissemination among public servants. by ensuring that they do not become sources of misinformation. Another bill, Senate Bill 1296, filed by Senator Jinggoy Estrada, seeks to criminalize the creation and dissemination of false information by amending the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Ayan. Similar measures have been filed in the House of Representatives. House Bill 2971 and House Bill 862, which will penalize all forms of disinformation. Violators will face a fine not less than 500,000 and an imprisonment not less than 10 years. No? However, some lawmakers joined journalists and human rights advocates in opposing the proposed legislations. These are not the kind of laws the country needs to fight disinformation. No? Kasi may problema sa freedom of speech sa ating freedom of expression. No? For instance, the New York-based Human Rights Watch urged the Philippine Senate to withdraw the Anti-False Content Bill in 2019. The bill would make the government the arbiter of permissible online material. Hindi pwede yun, no? While a law against disinformation may be good, the proposed law would only open the door for the government to clamp down on critical opinions and information. The proposed legislation would violate the 1987 Constitution, which guarantees freedom of the press and freedom of expression. Alam niyo yung ating Constitution is very unique. Kasi ito na nagbibigay ng freedom of the press, yung unabridged, no? So, wala niyan sa ibang ating Constitution, even sa Amerika. Sa atin lang meron yan. No? The Philippines also signed and ratified in 1986 an international convention on civil and political rights which allowed governments to impose restrictions on freedom of speech if those restrictions are provided by law and necessary for the protection of national security, public order, public health, morals, and the rights of others. Kaya nung panahon ng pandemic, naging issue yung fake news, no? However, the proposed legislation falls short of these standards. The proposed laws also do not clearly define what kind of content is prohibited. The resulting lack of clarity would chill the discussion of controversial subjects out of fear of prosecution. The proposed laws real risks for activists, journalists, academics, and ordinary people expressing their views on the internet. By proposing this heavy-handed regulation, the Philippine government threatens both internet freedom and the free exchange of ideas that lies at the heart of the democratic process. Naalala niyo ba, nung panahon ng pandemic, may nadimandang ordinary netizen na sinabihan na mali sinasabi ni Pangulong Duterte at ni Bongo. No? Kawawa naman yon. Na cyber libel yun. No? However, I believe that there is specific legislation to regulate how information could be disseminated that can help, especially targeting social media platforms and protecting privacy. There are actually 3 ways on how legislation can work to help fight disinformation. Modern online disinformation exploits the attention-driven business model that powers most of the internet as we currently know it. Platforms like Google and Facebook make staggering amounts of money grabbing and capturing attention so they can show paid advertisements. That attention is the game using algorithms that measure what content we engage with and automatically show us more content like it. So kung ano yung gusto nyong makita, no? Yun ang lumalabas algorithm nyo sa Facebook, sa mga social media, no? Siguro kung nagkamali kayo mapindot yung isang gusto nyong bilhin sa Shopee, lalabas na lahat yan sa feed nyo, no? The problem emerges when these algorithms automatically recommend and amplify our worst tendencies. As humans, we evolve in response more strongly to negative stimuli than positive ones. Those algorithms detect that and reinforce it, selecting content that sends us down increasing negative rabbit holes. Kaya puro, kung gusto niyo disinformation, lahat yun lalabas, disinformation. Kung galit kayo sa mundo, puro galit sa mundo lalabas sa feed nyo, no? Example, no? If we are hesitant about the COVID-19 vaccine, we would read a post from another user stalking a baseless anti-vaccine conspiracy theory. Notice, of course, that the truth is nowhere in this calculus. The only metric the algorithm rewards is engagement. And it turns out that this information and conspiracy theory make the perfect fodder for this algorithmic amplification. Our modern information environment, which rewards engagement above all else, is perfect for someone to succeed unless we make fundamental changes to this system. Now is the time for strong tech reform. This information is a product of toxic internet business model. By regulating the toxic business model underpinning our information environment, we will create a healthier ecosystem that stems the flow of this information, mitigate harms, and leads to oppress more productive conversation. The first important aspect is privacy. Although we also now have the data privacy, but I think we should strengthen the law on data privacy to target social media platforms. No? Personal data has become the most valuable resource in the world. How does this relate to this information? For starters, personal data is the fuel that powers this algorithmic distortion engine. But the connection goes deeper. Targeted advertising has robbed traditional media outlets of their primary asset, their audience. This effect has devastated publisher revenues and destroyed the business models that previously supported quality journalism, leaving a news vacuum that is being filled by disinformation. Strong privacy laws that go beyond those already in place in other Western countries would help stem the damage to the media business model and reestablish an environment where quality journalism could thrive once more. The second area is antitrust. We also have that law, the competition law. No? But kulang pa rin yan kasi masyadong malakas yung Google at Facebook. No? They control all the advertisements. No? Right now, the digital tech market is dominated by the two companies, Facebook and Google. Advertisers from around the world pay on average of 2/3 of their budget to adjust these two companies. This money ultimately what pays for the internet we use so freely. This is also what disinformation peddlers seek to capture when they create salacious content to share on social media. By driving engagement and traffic to their sites, these malicious actors display ads and make money. All of this creates a risky situation for advertisers who are loath to have their ads appear alongside this information. And yet, the advertisers have little to say over where their ads are appearing. They pay Google or Facebook, and those companies use algorithms to choose where to place their ads. They have no competition and thus little incentive to better serve their customers. The advertisers, by blocking ads and funding to sites peddling disinformation and hate. The final and most important area is content liability. No? I do not I think ang problema nito yung ating telecommunication, ano? Yung Google tsaka yung yung Facebook, hindi mo pwedeng habulin. No? Pero sa ibang bansa, they are now making legislation na pwedeng panagutin yung Facebook at Google, especially when they recommend joining some groups na advocate sa hate crimes. No? Facebook, for example, assumes no liability when they suggest people join hate crime, as their own internal data shows they do a whopping 64% of the time. They bear no responsibility when those people become radicalized and commit hate crimes or attack public buildings, even though it was Facebook that originally set them down the path. Ito yung nakita natin noong January 6 sa Washington. No? Siyempre, may kaso pa yan. Pwedeng mademanda si dating President Trump. No? When the law was originally conceived, popular analogy used at that time was a platform was like a chalkbook in a town square. Anyone could write anything on it, and the owner of the chalkboard was neither liable for what was written nor what they choose to erase. It made sense in the early days of the internet when these platforms had fewer users and were dominated by algorithmically curated feeds. Today, the chalkboard analogy no longer applies. Billions of users are effectively feeding these algorithms an infinite supply of content from which to populate our feeds. A better analogy for today's algorithm-driven platform would be the one used by kidnappers, no? Sa ransom notes, especially what we saw in the movies, where the kidnapper cuts out magazine letters to spell words. We don't accuse the magazines of the kidnapping even though they printed the letters or just because the kidnapper used letters from magazines to spell the words. So it doesn't mean that they didn't write the note. In the same way, it's not the content that the problem of the modern social media platforms. If the algorithms that are weaving that content into personally toxic narratives in order to drive engagement at the cost of everything else. This is what researchers mean when they compare freedom of speech to freedom of reach. We are entitled to freedom of speech, even though there has limits in the face of imminent harm and a clear link to emerging between online toxicity and offline harm. But the algorithmic amplification or reach is the product of decisions made by private companies through the algorithms they program. Not only there are no intrinsic right to have those private companies show their posts to other users, but those companies should also be made able to held liable when they decide to do via their algorithms if it ends up harming you or someone else. This is even truer when it comes to online advertising. Everyone has the right to say what they want on the web, but no one has the right to the money that advertisers pay into Google or Facebook to place ad next to the content. That should entirely the choice of advertisers footing the bill. Given this model, a solution becomes clearer. Anytime a platform makes a decision or programs an algorithm to make a decision to show content to a user, the platform should assume liability for that decision. If Facebook recommends a hate crime to a user and that user joins the group, becomes radicalized, plan violence there, and harm someone, the victim should be able to hold Facebook accountable for recommending that group and facilitating the planning. Sure, Facebook did solely cause the harm, but they were involved and thus bear some responsibility. Right now, the victim can even take Facebook to court to hash it out, let alone hold them accountable. That's what needs to be changed. Social media platforms immensely affected the balance of power in media, giving space to voices that have historically been suppressed. But we need to update the rules that govern the manipulation of our information environment in order to prevent another nihilistic narcissists gaining power. We need these legislative initiatives. They should become laws that seek to create platform liability and level the playing field in the ways that will make the web safer and more competitive. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Sir Manny. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed with the open forum, to provide insights on the topics presented, we have representatives from the local media and the academe. Our first reactor is a community journalist who has been covering stories on indigenous people, environment, and human rights, among others, for the past 20 years. She is the current managing editor of the Northern Dispatch and a correspondent of the Philippine Daily Inquirer. She is also a former national director of the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines and the present vice chairperson of the Baguio Benguet chapter. She studied mass communications at the University of the Philippines College Baguio, now University of the Philippines Baguio. Please welcome Ms. Kimberly Olmaya Ngabit Kitasol.
Ayan, magandang umaga. Mabuti na lang mababa yung podium, no? Napaka-considerate. How do you how do you follow 3 speakers of this caliber? Yeah. Siguro I'll start with in journalism we were taught that the role of journalism is to provide the public necessary information, relevant information that would help them decide on what to do with their lives, on what to do with their community, and what to do for the nation. Siguro we start from that premise sa hinaba-haba ng diskusyon sa ano na nga ba ang itsura ng media ngayon after the Duterte presidency, who is, I think, whose, biggest achievement for himself or for the administration is to sow distrust to the media. So, ibalik lang natin sa dapat yung role sana ng media sa ating lipunan at bakit mahalaga siyang sangkap sa demokrasya. It is an international accepted fact that media is supposed to be the watchdog of society. So, ultimately, an informed nation, a nation or a people with the right information can steer the nation to progress. So if we are not properly informed, then we make the wrong decisions. And so we steer our nation to the wrong direction. And that is a tall order for journalists, for truth tellers, especially at a time when, like our speakers have described, of massive, widespread disinformation, and especially in the Philippine society where Sir Christian pointed out, a very polarized society. As Ma'am Ellen pointed out, fact-checking is supposed to be a basic component of journalism. In journalism, we are taught that news should be factual, accurate, verified. So the term fake news is really encapsulated the Duterte administration's campaign for mistrust. It was easily accepted. News cannot be fake because it is verified. It is supposed to be factual and it is supposed to be accurate. So how can it be fake? But when the fake news term was coined and popularized, it was easily digested, accepted, swallowed, because it banked on the fact that there are also problems within the media. And there are also, well, no institution is perfect. And it was also pointed out earlier that we also have our problems in the media that we have to work on if we are to become effective in our role in nation building, in defending democracy. Also, another point I'd like to focus on is the fact that press freedom stands on the basic right of every person for free speech and expression, for the public, on the public's right to know. So therefore, being a product of these rights, it should be at the forefront of defending these rights, at the forefront of defending human rights. When we defend press freedom, we are not defending the media's right to publish alone, but we are also defending the public's right to know, the public's right to have relevant information, to be able to be part of nation building, to be able to be part of governance. Remember, democracy is supposed to be the government of, for, by the people. Humaba yung notes ko. Well, also another point is the birth of alternative media. One of the problems mentioned earlier is self-censorship, the stifling from within, as Sir Christian mentioned earlier. It's really frustrating when the stories that you think are relevant do not make it. And so alternative media was born. The Northern Dispatch, for example, was born out of the need to amplify the voices from the fringes in the Cordillera at a time when they are up against big dam projects, lagging concessions, mining corporations who are taking over ancestral lands and destroying the environment. These are stories that are important, not just for the indigenous peoples in the Cordillera, because right now, our forest covers are found in indigenous people territory. And we need more forest cover at this time, when climate change is a real big problem worldwide. And so, the media has its own checks and balance and find ways, hindi naman BDO, no? Pero the media also, within itself, try its best to maybe rectify or cure the problems within its own institution, like all other institutions. Another point I'd like to drive on is the problem with big tech. Yes, we partner with them in fact-checking. Yes, they do. But we can only do so much in this area. Remember the time when Facebook was able to shut down 100 or more than 100 fake accounts, they call, for, what do they call it? Coordinated, inauthentic behavior. And these over 100 fake accounts were traced to military and police accounts. The big tech has sole control over their platforms. They have sole control who to allow and who not to allow. And so while we can do so much in fact-checking, in reporting all these pages that I believe like Sir Mugato pointed out, we need to push big tech to really take accountability, responsibility over whatever they put out on their platforms. it is a given that these are profit-oriented big business corporations, and all their policies and moves and rules and regulations boils down to where they earn more. But as a people, we can always do something about it. It is a long shot. It is hard work, but so was democracy. Siguro to end, for me, responsible media is critical media. Critical hindi dahil laging na may kritisismo, but critical because we do not absorb everything that they tell us. We do not just swallow hook, line, and sinker data presented to us. We verify, we check the veracity of these reports, we sift through all the data and pick out the most important and relevant of these data and try to help everyone understand what these numbers, what these information mean in our daily lives, and how can it change our lives, our country, our community. Good morning. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Kim. Our second reactor had been straddling between journalism and literature for almost 3 decades. He has written for Northern Dispatch and Philippine Daily Inquirer and is now a correspondent for Rappler. He was a fellow for the Alfred Friendly Press Fellowship and worked for a year at the defunct Seattle Post-Intelligencer. He now edits the Baguio Chronicle. He was a founding member of the Baguio Writers Group and has won the Palanca, among others. Let's all welcome Mr. Frank Simato.
Nimbaga bigat, I'll try to be local on my reaction. Nung time namin, nung bata pa ako, mayabang ang Baguio media. We're one of the feistiest, more independent kasi hindi kagaya ng sinabi ni Christian na may mga political backers kami. Right now, we have 6 newspapers na regular. Kasi pag election, dumadami kami, saka yung, what do you call it, sa court, may mga nakikibid na hindi naman totoong mga newspapers. Anyway, yung 6 na yon, isa lang yung parang dati hawak ni Dumogan, until finally, sabi nila, independent na daw sila kasi natalo si Dumogan. At kaya magalong na siya. So, yon. Kung may hindi nahabol yung politika sa Manila, they come to Baguio and then, ang dami kasi mga correspondents dito, and then we have the centers of, yung mga newspapers, until nasira yung illusion namin na mayabang kami during the lockdown. Nawala yung the only daily, yung Sunstar. And then, yung Bureau ng Inquirer decided to be, ano na ngayon? Luzon. And ang laki ng effect ng pagkawala ng ABS-CBN kasi may sarili silang sasakyan, so they can go around. Humahabol na lang kami. So yan, naiwan kami mga 6. Nila-libel pa kami. So yung isa nag-migrate to online ang Northern Dispatch. So, ito, nawala na kami ng... At saka, nung nangyari yung COVID lockdown, naging very dependent kami on government media. Kasi sila na naman yung pwedeng makalabas. Kasi hindi kami makalabas, literally. Pati yung mga Channel 7, we just depend on yung Facebook Live. So, naging reactionary kami. Yung parang tinitweak na lang namin yung mga reports ng 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 government. Hindi kami makapunta sa mga dati naming pinupuntahan na Sagada, ganun. Haven't been to Sagada for a long time. Namimiss ko na nga. Anyway, yun. Parang, in a while, yung Midland, they used to have like 40 pages, ano? May time no na umabot yan ng 16 na alam naman natin, yung 16 na yon, 8 pages ay obituary. Well, that's Midland. Hindi ka namatay kung hindi ka na Midland. Yun lang yun. And di ba gaganda ng kwan nila, obituary? Kami naman, dating 16, naging 8. Ano? So, yun, akala namin, ang namamayagpag na lang yung radio. No? So, ito pa yung radio na sila yung, not really, yeah, maybe they're feisty, but they're friendly with their sources. Ano? Well, sa amin, ang nag-save sa amin yung fact-checking. Dumating ang Rappler, we had, nasali kami dun sa kanilang hashtag fact first. Ano? So, yung aming newspaper, naging 16 pages na kami ngayon. Dati, 10,000 lang yung aming sa yung Facebook namin. Now we're 50,000. So, 500% ang pagkataas. Ano? And then, kami lang yung, ang dami namin, Press One, ang dami ng fact check na mga, I think 20. Tatlo lang kami na nakakagawa ng 30 fact checks per month. Parang 4 lang kami. Hindi pa kami nag-uusap. Chika lang yun. What saved us was UP Baguio actually. Hindi pa nga UP Journey, yung mga ball. We got interns and then na dapat mga poetry ang pinag-uusapan namin. Ano? So, tinuruan namin sila mag-fact check. So, yun. Nakatulong naman. Isa pa nga sa kanila na sumama sa akin sa Singapore, we talk about how Chronicle succeeded in ito nga. So, yun. 50,000 na yung aming followers. Yung 40,000 yung nag-like lang. So, marami kami mga 10,000 na enemies siguro. And then, we also do translations of our fact checks. Ano? Ilocano. Yung asawa ni Kim ang taga-translate namin. Ang bilis mag-translate. Doon namin napasok yung Solid North. Ano? So yun, naging famous kami. Pinag-usapan kami ni Daryl Yap. Pag Daryl Yap kasi yung fact check namin, nakakaabot kami ng almost 500,000. Kaya, lagi kong pinapanood yan, si Daryl Yap. Nag-member din ako ng Marcos Loyalist. Nagnanakaw lang ako doon. Ilocano yung usap doon eh. So, yung mga the things you have to do, ano? So, yun. Well, maybe, I hope, nakatulong kami sa... Kasi, ang totoo niyan, late na yung pagpasok ng fact-checking eh. Bongbong had a head start 6 years ago. Meron na siyang, nag-Friendster pa yan eh. Fake kaagad yung ginagawa niya eh. Actually, yun nga, nakuha na nila. We're just catching up with them. So, I hope pag tinuloy natin to, yung ating kwan, kasi ito na eh, nawawala na yung funding, so pag i-sustain yan, siguro makakaroon naman tayo ng effect. So, yun lang. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Sir Frank. Our final reactor is a professor of speech communication at the College of Arts and Communication in UP Baguio. She earned her PhD in development communication from UP Los Baños. Her research interests include space and spatiality, development and poverty studies, communication and strategy, monitoring and evaluation, and creative cities. She was the former department chair of the Department of Communication of the College of Arts and Communication and also former director of UP Baguio's Office of Public Affairs. Let us welcome Professor Cecilia Faye Santamaria Abalos.
Para ako na-intimidate. Thank you for the papers and the brief lecture and explanation on misinformation, disinformation. No? So, acknowledging, I hope I don't sound like a faculty, but I am, so I will stand by it. I like the point and the idea of everything when they were talking about fake news, disinformation, misinformation. What stand out in my mind was the idea of polarized society and how it is formed, and the role of a communication faculty, the role of the media practitioners, but the huge role of the audience. So I will take this point of departure from polarized society, and my reaction will be based on the perspective of the audience. No? What is the audience's role? In a way. No? So I hope this makes sense. No? So misinformation and disinformation is actually a result of an embedded culture of kind of political thinking. No? Before the upsurge of fake news on social media, meron na rin yan sa print ever since. No? But looking at, in one of my classes, we did the unearthing of the documents for the Marcos rhetoric, no? It spans pala way back 60s. So matagal na nilang binibuild yung sarili nila, and they have a very well-laid plan, no? Alam na nila yan sino yung next na tatakbo sa mga anak. Kumbaga, it was easy for them. They were actually the first who invested in communication, no? Malaki ang investment nila sa building of communication. So looking at that, if there is that upsurge ever since, no, it is not just on social media, but the socio-political mything is so strong. And the strength of this socio-political mything, these are narratives that tend to validate culture and reality. Yun yung nai-embed sa tao. So hanggang ngayon naalala natin yung mahal na, yung lintik na Taliano Gold, diba? Na narinig ko na yan sa usapan sa Malolos, Bulacan nung maliit pa ako. No? Na nabasa ko rin eventually. No? So, looking at that, yun yung naaalala ng tao. Ang mito or ang myth, yan yung natatransfer orally, yan yung information na nabibigay. And what is very much worrying, nobody actually checks if it's true or not. But if it becomes a myth, it becomes a cultural reality and truth for the people. Okay? So paano ba mag-isip yung general audience natin? Sabi ng Frankfurt School, no? Ito tignan natin. No? Ayaw ni Frank yung Frankfurt School. No? Ang critical theory, meron tayong tinatawag na false consciousness. No? So this is actually people's inability to recognize oppression, inequality, and exploitation. Kumbaga ang tao ay punong abala. Yung mambabasa natin, yung manunood natin, estudyante natin, faculty natin, ay punong abala sa mga bagay-bagay. Pang-araw-araw. We are so busy surviving, ganun tayo kahirap, okay, we are so busy surviving that we do not have and take the time to read, to be educated, and to learn more. No? So, looking at that kind of false consciousness, this by and large actually shapes the objectivity and the apolitical thinking of our audience. Kapag ang tao ay apolitical, nagbubuo tayo ng isang pool of audience, pool of readers, pool of moviegoers who will just choose based on nothing. Okay? So, ang nangyayari niyan, yung communication ecology natin can be identified into three kinds of audience who have these three kinds of positions. First, one position, those who stand for the truth. Okay? We have another position, those people who stand and propagate the not true information. Ang pinakamalaki na population are people or the audience who have no stand at all. And these are the ones who are quote-unquote neutral. Ito yung mga pag tinanong mo, uy, alam mo ba yung nangyari? Ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. Ay, hindi ko alam. Ay, hindi ko pa nabasa. Or, ano sa tingin mo? Pag tinanong mo, what's your political point of view? What's your opinion on this? So it stops at that, no? So ano nangyayari pagka ganon, no? This kind of large population of audience, media audience, lack already the axiological positioning, no? When we say axiological positioning, ang pagiging part ng media, pagtuturo ng media, pagiging estudyante ng media, at bilang regular na mambabasa, ikaw dapat ay merong set of values. Yang set of values na yan, yun ay pinaninindigan mo. No? That kind of axiological positioning enables a person or an individual to stand for truth. Stand for what is good for the many. O importante yun, no? Good for the many. Okay? Another is when we stand, we speak. And when we speak, we should have substance. No? So, according to Millet 2012, no, the backbone of any democracy is an independent, professional, and responsible media. Ang take ko dito, hindi lang ang media. We also need an audience who can fully engage in the political public sphere. We need a critical audience as well. Both inform each other. Both parties shape each other. We have a critical media, and we also have a critical audience. If you don't have a critical audience, the media, those who do not have sides, meron din ganun sa media, ha? Or those who are not standing up for truth, will just feed what the audience likes. Okay. So when we take that kind of axiological positioning, we learn how to speak, to stand, to read with substance. Iniintindi, no? So we read, do critical reading, we work for it. Hindi pwedeng ang tao ay walang political position. Hindi ako naniniwala na, ay wala akong stand dyan, hindi ako naniniwala dyan. You are in the wrong job. Whether you're a faculty of communication or you're a practitioner, if you do not have a political stand, that's really, really bothering. No? Yun lang sasabihin ko. Baka iba yung masabi ko kasi. So, mahawa ako kay Frank, nahiya naman ako. So, babalikan ko kanina, no, to end this and to encapsulate this. I think as a faculty, no, we tried with the check.ph last year during the election time, no, as public affairs director of UP Baguio. And my God, it was even frustrating for my comm students, no. The virality was so slow. Walang nagbabasa kung di ko pa i-require. Please read the art cards on fact checking that was released by Baguio Chronicle and UP Baguio, o awa ng Diyos. Yes, ma'am. Yan yung magandang sagot eh. But you're not sure if really it was really digested properly. Balikan ko yung sinabi ni Dean kanina. No? So, iba ang pagiging dilat sa pagiging mulat. Pwede kasing dilat ka, alam mong may problema, pero ayaw mong makilahok. Pag hindi ka nakikilahok, ang tawag sa'yo ay dilat. Kasi ang kailangan natin ngayon, mahabang battle ito Kasi kung 1960s pa tong mything na to, baka nga luma pa eh. Baka yung mga oral communication forms, hindi na natin na-document eh. We will only be circling around the same kinds and types of oppressors. So, yun yung mga pwedeng mangyari sa atin. No? So, kailangan nating maging mulat. Ang mulat ay kailangan ng paninindigan. Ang pagkamulat ay bunga ng paninindigan. Politikal na paninindigan. At ang paninindigan ay napapahinog ng galaw o tinatawag nating political action ng media, ng audience, ng gobyerno, hopefully, ng akademya, at yang galaw na hinihingi natin o political action, kailangan kasama ka doon. So, yun lang po. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Faye, and to all our reactors from the local media, kay Sir Frank and Ma'am Kim. We will now open the forum for your questions. So to be more systematic, we have ushers on the opposite aisle, si Kaiser and si Jude. They have wireless microphones. And pa-raise na lang ng hand if you have a question, and they will approach you. And siguro start with your name at kung anong school kayo, and then kung kanino directed yung question. So anybody who has a question? Here, there, Kaiser.
Good morning to our speakers. Regarding since our speakers have mentioned the influence of fake news and algorithms in journalism, I hope they won't mind if I ask something regarding a future issue that will soon rise in the field of journalism, which is AI technology. Given that AI technology can either be a friend or a foe in terms of providing journalists tools to improve their work or sadly replace them in the future to cut back finances, I would also like to know your personal stance regarding this. And following that, what are the ways that we can stop AI bots from taking the lead in the newsroom?
Good morning. Ako natatakot sa AI. Kasi mawala kaming trabaho. Alam mo, yung AI, hindi lang ngayon yan. Matagal na yan. Kasi yung mga business papers, like international, Bloomberg, Reuters, gumagamit ng AI. No? Kasi alam nyo, pag gumagawa kayo ng economic data, indicators, every month yan lumalabas. Yung GDP, yung export, yung import, yung debt, inflation. Ang pinapalitan dyan, numero lang eh. So yung AI, na-predict na kung paano ginagawa yan. So yung Reuters at Bloomberg, ginagamit ang AI para mabilis lumabas yung balita. No? Kasi alam mo sa international press, nung nandun pa ako sa Reuters, every second matters. No? Pinapakita kami ng editor namin pag naunahan kami ng Bloomberg ng 1 second. No? At yung aming bonus nakasalalay sa 70% of the time dapat nauna ka. No? So yung AI, pinabilis na kasi yung tao medyo mabagal. No? Ang ginagawa namin pre-write. No? Kunyari, yung lalabas ang interest rate. No? Diba? Tumaas ang interest rate ngayon, 25 basis point. No? Usually, monetary board ng meeting yan every 6 weeks. So, bago mag-meeting, gumagawa na kami ng pre-write. Interest rate will increase, will stay, or will be cut. No? Tatlo yung ginagawa naming istorya. Para kung ano yung i-announce, pinipindot na. Pero yung AI mabilis eh. Kaya yung trabaho namin napabilis at saka hindi na namin ganong ginagawa yung ganyong mga pre-write. No? So, ngayon, sa eskwelahan, kasi tuturo kami ni Crystal sa UST, yung mga estudyante namin gumagamit ng AI. No? Gagawa ka ng news report, AI. No? Gagawa ka ng column, AI. Gagawa ka ng kung ano-ano. Pati nga kung anong tula, di ba? Pwede ng AI, no? So, in the future, tingin ko threat siya sa journalism, no? Kasi baka mawalan kaming trabaho mag-AI na lang tayo, no? Pero alam mo, iba pa rin yung analytical mind ng tao kaysa computers. So I think yung journalist may silbi pa rin. Kasi hindi naman na-predict lahat ng computer yung mangyayari, no? So siguro marami sa inyo gumagamit ng Google, no? Tatap nyo pa lang yung letter, lumalabas na yung buong sentence, di ba? Minsan. So, ganun mag-isip yung AI na alam niya kung anong gusto mong sabihin, ano bang kailangan mo, no? So, sa tingin ko, malaking impact sa journalism, ano? Alam mo kasi yung karamihan ng journalist dito, simula as police reporter. Simula ako police reporter 1983. Di kahon yan. Di kahon yung police reporting. Ang papalitan mo lang dyan yung saan nangyari, kailan anong oras, ano yung pangalan ng suspect, kung namatay o ano. Pagka may AI ka, di mo na kailangan ng police reporter. Gagawin na ng AI yan. Kasi halos pare-paras naman, may saksakan, may barilan. So, kayang-kaya na ng AI yan. So, danger sa amin.
Ako may short addition.
Yes, please.
I understand yung fear sa AI. And partly I share the sentiment of Mr. Manny Mogato. Pero I actually embrace a different perspective sa AI. More than the concern, hindi ako takot. Because you have to understand na, tama yun, yung sa binabanggit yung example sa Bloomberg, yung mga dekahon na story, kayang gawin siya ng AI. Actually ngayon, in my case, di ba, I'm on YouTube, nakikinabang ako sa AI Nakikita ko yung analytics, nakikita ko yung audience, yung age, nakikita ko, kailangan ko pa mag-appeal sa younger audience kasi 45 and up yung mga nanonood, lola. nakikita ko yung demographics, ang lugar. Anong bansa, gaano katagal sila nanonood, saan may uptick, saan boring, saan medyo bado yung discussion. So nakikita ko lahat yun. Thank you sa AI. So ang gusto kong ibahagi siguro sa inyo, it's up to you. Kayo naman bahala kung gusto nyo matakot o hindi. No? There's certain newsroom mechanics, certain newsroom duties that can be enhanced by AI. And siguro if you go to the extreme end, might be replaced. Pero pag inisip nyo, it's a matter of perspective. Eto, I'll cite a very concrete example. Pag yung newsroom nyo, nagsara for instance because of the pandemic, yung dating community press na may 15 or 10 employees, naging 3 o 1 na lang, kailangan mo mag-appeal sa audience mo, hindi lang written word, kailangan broadcast. Wala ka namang pwedeng humarap sa camera. You can actually come up with yung Amazon Poly, which is a program. Meron siyang tiers, pipiliin mo kung ano, merong free. So itatype mo yung script, babasahin siya, broadcast voice. That's AI. So ilalabas mo siya ngayon sa social media, you appeal to a particular set of audience who do not necessarily want to get their information from the written word. So that's AI for you. Another example, di ba minsan sinasabi natin, baka naman yung news organization natin masyado namang talagang may kinikilingan na. Kasi minsan tayo, tingin natin, hindi kami, lahat very, kami, objective, quote-unquote, no? Actually, can make use of AI. You come up with a program, pwede mo i-content analyze. Yung let's say, lahat ng news reports sa lumabas, let's say sa front page ng isang news organization, over the past 2 or 3 electoral cycles. Makikita mo doon, for instance, sino ba yung mas nire-report? Diba? Makikita mo ron, baka naman masyado tayong kumikiling talaga sa isang side. So, there are certain uses of AI that can actually help us come up with better journalism. Although, alam natin na pag hindi natin to niregulate, that if we do not focus on the ethical issues surrounding AI, talagang aabot tayo rin sa Pero I'm not thinking in terms of Terminator scenario, yung para masyadong yung magte-take over yung machines. Although, ginawa ng China yan, di ba? 4 years ago. Ako, mas concerned ko yung deepfakes. Mas magbabantay ako when it comes to deepfakes. Kasi, di ba yung mga jib-jab dati, yung apps, that's deepfake eh. Bado yun, di ba? Ang pinaka-biktima ng deepfakes ngayon, kababaihan, if you go by the research. Ito ginawa ko to because I did the presentation on AI 2 weeks ago. Naghahanap ako ng example. Tinype ko si Gal Gadot. Gadot siya, di ba? Hindi Gado. He's a super Wonder Woman. Nakita ko Gal Gadot deepfakes. Alam mo ba sa akin, lahat ng mga websites na nilalagay yung mukha ni Gal Gadot sa porn. At wala siyang pagtatago. Nakalagay doon. Puntahan mo yung website, makikita mo siya, nakalagay yung mukha niya sa katawan ng babae. So, yun ang mga dangers ng deepfakes. And number 2, sa susunod na election, paano kung lumabas yung mukha ng isang politiko, may ginagawa announcement, kumalat na yan. Hindi mahahabol ng fact-checking yun. So, doon ako matatakot sa deepfakes more than the other AI. Because AI encompasses basically pretty much many things when it comes to newsroom operations. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Actually, ako kasi these are things that are inevitable eh. Na whether we like it or not mangyayari. So, ako medyo worried. But at the same time, there's nothing, we have to do things we have to learn how to manage it eh. Yun. Kami, yan sinasabi ni Christian, yung pakinabang ng AI. Kami sa fact-checking, like yung, di ba, kasi as fact-checker, you are given access to a platform ng kanyang Facebook where everything na viral, all over the world, nandun yun. Paano, if we have to go through, isa-isahin namin yan, maubos oras namin. So, using yung AI, na kaagad namin, nafi-filter na kaagad yung sa Philippines lang. Pero magpo-focus kami sa Philippines. So, yan, di ba? May pakinabang, ganon. Tapos yun nga, yung analysis, yung digital analysis namin, nagagano. So, may kahit, pero, ako worried din talaga ako sa So, ang lang isa pa, for all its genius ng AI, walang puso yan eh. So, how do you, so siguro yung tayo as human beings, we should always make sure na nandun yung natin, yung humanity, para siguro that's what we will use to control AI.
Maraming salamat po. Right now we have a question. Let's go to Facebook naman, from Facebook. Is it time, to anyone po, is it time to rethink, tweak, or abandon the legacy media's business model in the way we educate the next generation of journalists and media workers, given the phenomenal and dangerous rise of SOCMED as vehicle of lies and disinformation? And will our efforts to take the battle for truth to SOCMED pay off?
I'll start short lang. No? Definitely. We have to rethink the business model of the legacy media kasi hindi tayo nakakasabay eh. Iba yung appeal, for instance, sa mga taong nasa TikTok, nasa Facebook, nasa YouTube. Pag tinignan niyo yung model natin ng news report, yung package, yung tawag namin doon VO eh, sobrang baduy. Hindi siya talaga nag-a-appeal. Walang relatability. That's one. Number 2, you also have to recognize or reevaluate ano ba yung news values ngayon. Because as a theory, that's old. And they're still very relevant. Pero for instance, yung virality, can that be considered a news value? Of course not. Pero sa ibang tao, pag tinignan natin effect, that has news value to me because I consume that information, even if it's not news. So, kung ganun yung perspective ng news consumers natin, tayo na naglalabas ng ganung idea, we have to consider, meron bang impact ng ginawa natin? Ako, that's why I shifted to Filipino. Kasi dati ang audience ko ANC. Napansin ko, nakaka-recognize sa akin sa Rockwell. Sabi ko, di mo na ako mayaman, pero pag nakatambay ako sa Rockwell, nakakilala. Pero pag sa kalye, wala. Kasi audience policy makers. So nag-Filipino ako, sabi ko, lumawak yung audience eh. So you have to do good journalism, but you also have to make sure na merong impact in terms of magkukonsume.
Ako, as we have all these technological advances, the more that we should go back to the basics, the core values of journalism. Ako yung palagi, kahit saan tayo pupunta, yung core values of journalism, accuracy, always never sacrifice truthfulness. You know, kasi that's what we are for here naman eh, di ba? yung information natin is yung truthfulness. Number 2 is fairness, di ba? We should yan nandun yung humanness. You should never yung journalism natin whatever kahit ano pa yung you should never put innocent people in harm's way. Diba? And then because nandun yung independence. No? You should write a story not because somebody told you to write this and you're commissioned to do this, but because you discovered something which you feel should benefit mankind, and so you write about it. So and it should not be dapat walang conflict of interest na somebody told you to write about this. And of course, accountability, you should be accountable to whatever you write. Those are the basic values na kahit ano pa mangyari sa advances in technology, those things you should never compromise those values.
Ako, I agree with Ellen and Christian. Pero ang tingin ko, yung legacy media should adapt sa changes na nangyayari ngayon sa social media. No? So kung ang mga kabataan nagpupunta sa TikTok, dapat nandun na rin ang legacy media. No? Hindi ko sinasabi na yung Jordan ay magsayaw. No? Ang sinasabi ko lang, gamitin din yung medium, yung TikTok, para i-propagate yung totoong impormasyon. No? Kung uso ngayon ng short video, no? Pwede namang i-cut off yung mga news na nilalabas mo. Kunin mo lang yung importante para madaling ma-disseminate sa mga kabataan na mahilig sa TikTok o sa mga video. So, we can share and we can disseminate truthful information. No? So, tingin ko, talagang dapat mag-adapt yung legacy media.
Okay. Maraming salamat po. From the audience, we have a question to ask. Name and school po?
Hello po. Nicole Garcia po from University of the Philippines, Baguio. So, ang question ko po, dahil nabanggit na rin naman po ni ma'am yung regarding sa values or ng journalism. Number 1 po kasi sa PPI, Journalist Code of Ethics is, I shall scrupulously report and interpret news, taking care not to suppress essential facts, nor to distort the truth by omission or improper emphasis. I recognize the duty to air the other side and the duty to correct substantive errors promptly. So with this na po, given na yun yung pinakauna sa PPI Journalists Code of Ethics, so why do you think po it's still misinformation and disinformation dissemination is still rampant, even with journalists such as journalists of a certain network na is known for spreading misinformation and disinformation po? And a follow-up question ko na lang po doon is, why are they still free to disseminate those kinds of information, and are there sanctions imposed po pag nagagawa po nila yun? Yun lang po.
Before you answer po, I'm sorry, it's gonna be the last question kasi we're running out of time. So anyone po from the panel?
Di ba may 10 commandments? Pero bakit marami hindi sumusunod? Ganon din yan. Although ang suggestion ko not to burst your bubble, may mas magaganda pang code of ethics kumpara sa PPI. You can check in Society of Professional Journalists. So, side comment ko lang yan. Number 2, bakit despite that very strict code of ethics, set of ethics doon sa PPI, bakit yung network na binabanggit mo, meron ba letter S? Okay. Hindi ako sure kung members ng KBP pero you have to understand na yung self-regulation mechanism ng Philippine media, mahina. Meron tayong tinatawag ng All Boys Club. May protection of their own. And worse, ngayon kasi, highly partisan yung ibang news organizations, pretending to be news, although they are just organizations. Some claim to be critical thinkers, but they're just critical, but they don't think. Nagkikriticize lang. So, yun ang reality natin. Pag sinabi mo, for instance, bakit napaka-strict ng Code of Ethics pero hindi sumusunod to, alam mo naman yung sagot, di ba? Kasi you have to build a culture of accountability within newsrooms. Ngayon, kung yung newsroom na yan, highly partisan, they don't care about those Code of Ethics. Meron silang sariling Diyos na sinusunod. Meron silang sariling set of moral values na sinusunod. Miski alam mong mali. So marami tayong nakikitang mali, pero what can we do? Should we ban them? Kasi sacrosanct din naman talaga yung freedom of speech and expression. And it's still better that they are there, even if they're coming up with a lot of rubbish. Ang tanong doon, ano ba yung pwede natin gawin? Kasi kung hindi mo siya mare-reform, edi yung audience, baka pwede nating sabihan, there are other better sources of information. Hindi porke nadidinig mo yung gusto mong madinig dito sa isang ganitong organization, doon ka na lagi pupunta. Kasi that's a very crucial step in terms of, let's say, informing people on how to deal with fake information. Pag masyadong confirmatory yung nakita mo sa Facebook, yun doon ka mas mag-isip. Kasi most likely, doon ka malalaglag sa bangin. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay na yun.
Okay, the fact lang that you are concerned about it, maganda yun, di ba? Yung that's already a good sense of awareness na you're conscious about it and medyo nadi-disturb ka na, bakit ganito? So that's very good. So continue being sensitive about these things. And ko lang kasi to fight disinformation, all of us, I think anyone can be a fact checker, all of us. And one is develop a healthy, yung sense of skepticism for everything that you hear. And so, yun, so.
Okay na yun. Be skeptical.
Okay. All right. We have room for one last question. Short question. Anyone? There. Okay, Kaiser. Name please and
Hello,
let's go.
hello. Okay. I'm JT Soriano pa from UP Baguio. So, ang itatanong ko po ay, kasi sa aming journalism news editing class, meron kaming digital publication and my group will report on the environment. So, ang tanong ko po ay, as media practitioners, what do you think should the media do in order to advance calls for the environment, especially that there's a heightened climate crisis right now?
Alam mo, boring sa amin yung environment issue. Sorry. Importante yan. No? Because of the current situation, no? Yung climate change. Pero, tignan mo yung legacy media. Kino-cover ba yung climate change? Parang kukonti ang coverage sa climate change. Kasi hindi siya sexy, no? Ang gusto nila political, no? Yung mga scandals, yun ang mabenta, no? Sa ating legacy media. So I think dapat nating tignan yung importance ng climate change sa ating environment, no? Kasi nagbabago na yung situation, di ba? Nakita mo sa California umuunang yelo. Sa Hollywood may yelo na. Kaya ba nangyari yan, no? Sa atin yung mga baha, palakas yung mapagyo. Maraming nasasalanta, no? Dito sa Cordillera, di ba? Madalas ang landslide, no? So, kulang kasi ng pansin yung mga environment story sa ating legacy media. Tingin ko kung di sponsored yung reports ng Rappler, walang environment stories doon, no? So, tingin ko tama yung ginagawa niyo sa UP na bigyan ng pansin yung mga environment stories.
Sige, binolunteer ako. Sobrang ikli lang. Hindi, huwag ka nang malungkot. Tsaka baka yung woke culture, yariin si Manny Mogatoro sa term na sexy. It's a newsroom term kasi. Inabutan ko rin yun. Hindi siya sexy topic. It's not in any way meant to demean women. Yung sexy. Inabutan ko yung term na yun. Ibang old editors, iba pa yung term na ginagamit eh.
Kasi yung, alam mo sa journalism, no, yung mga old school, sexist talaga. Di ba? Sabi nga, pagka sinasaraming yung diary, di ba? Put to bed.
Oh, put the paper to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Tapos sa sensationalism, iba yung term doon, di ba? Hindi pinababanggitin in public. Hindi, doon sa ano...
Hindi, sabihin ko na.
Ano?
Yung story, sinasalsal. Di ba? Para gumanda.
Ayan, oo. Anyway.
Sorry.
Hindi sa environment. That's true. That's a sad reality kasi hindi siya masyado nabibigyan ng ng focus, which is also a challenge to us sa mainstream news organizations. I'll cite a very concrete example. Siguro familiar kayo rito yung carbon majors, yung big polluters. Nagkaroon ng landmark decision yung Philippine Court of Commission on Human Rights to look at the climate crisis from the perspective of human rights. Kaya idinimanda sa CHR, led by Greenpeace, yung mga big polluters, yung mga Chevron. Kasi sinasabi nila, wala namang boundaries yung pollution eh. Hindi yan humihinto sa boundary ng Pilipinas, sa dagat, no? And then, ang ginamit doon ng mga, to prove the case, to support the case, yun nangyari sa Typhoon Haiyan. Diba? So, that was a landmark decision, pero wala tayong legislative infrastructure to actually use that in our own courts. Pero sa ibang bansa, ginagamit nila in more advanced economies. Ginawa ko siyang ilang episodes sa ANC, pati doon sa YouTube. Hulaan mo, yung viewership bagsak. Miski gaano kahirap yung effort ko na i-simplify, hindi ko ginagamit yung mga term na carbon majors, ang daming mga pasakali para paliwanag. So I saw that as a challenge on the part of media to make those kinds of stories more palatable and relatable. So siguro, instead of talking about carbon majors, o naalala nyo ba yung Typhoon Haiyan, o huwag natin gamitin Haiyan, Yolanda, di ba? Kumbaga, there's an approach eh. It's very challenging really. Yeah.
Tsaka ngayon, yung nangyaring oil spill sa Mindoro, magandang magandang environment story. Pero wala tayo nakikita anong effect sa Verde Island. Di ba?
Mas naging spot story. Yung inaabangan na lang aabot na ba sa amin, tapos may magre-reklamong local tourism office. Parang gano'n na lang yung idea eh.
Thank you po. I'm not discouraged. I'm inspired pa.
All right, that will be the last question. Maraming salamat po for your truthful answers. All right, reminder po for everyone to get your certificates of participation in today's forum. Please accomplish yung evaluation form before we end the program. Mamaya, if you flash a screen, yung nandyan na, Wi-Fi password on the screen and scan the QR code. So to formally end the forum and award the certificates of appreciation and participation to our guests today, may we call on the Department of Communication Chair, Professor Orville B. Tacho.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So to manage the time, I actually will stick to my script, okay? Kasi alam ko medyo gutom na tayo. So, thank you to our Master of Ceremonies, Professor Dennis Gutierrez, and thank you everyone for attending the forum. By way of synthesis, allow me to address the million-dollar question on everyone's minds. How then should we combat disinformation at a time when the truth is under attack, and at this juncture when post-truth has facilitated a relativist notion of the truth, where facts have become subordinate to our political point of view? Not to belabor all the great points made during this forum, allow me to offer a couple of insights. First, and most common to us all, we need a whole-of-society approach to battling disinformation. That entails all sectors of society working together to espouse the values of truth, freedom, and justice. That means journalists, the academe, the media industry, the government, people's organizations, and even ordinary citizens working together to fight one big enemy such as disinformation. On the education front, that also means embracing all kinds of literacies: fact-checking, media and information literacy, digital literacy, and rhetorical literacy. Second, and perhaps most important, to combat disinformation is to sustain intergenerational efforts of truth-seeking and truth-telling. The key word here is intergenerational, involving both the young and old in dialogue, and ensuring that such dialogue is sustained in the years to come. Meaningful dialogue is what will create personal and institutional memories and narratives about what we value and what we regard to be the truth. The 2023 Marshall McLuhan Forum is a testament to the twin commitments I have mentioned, a whole-of-society approach and an intergenerational dialogue to combat disinformation. The whole-of-society approach is illustrated by the gracious acceptance of our panelists and reactors to our invitation. The participation of journalists Christian Esguerra, Ellen Tordesillas, Manny Mogato, Kimberly Quitasol, Frank Simatu, and other members of the media is a testament to the fact that the academe is not the only place to develop political consciousness. Perhaps more important, the fight is out there, beyond the confines of our hallowed institutions, and in the public sphere, where polarization is more likely experienced. To this end, journalists have a crucial role not only in speaking to a wider audience and public, but also in holding up a mirror to society, in holding us to account for what we say and what we do. Meanwhile, our commitment to intergenerational dialogue has started with the eager attendance of our young students in this forum. We thank the students of St. Louis University, the University of the Cordilleras, the University of the Philippines Baguio, and notably the participants from Baguio City High School. You showed us that you are never too young to understand the issues we face as a society. And as we sustain our meaningful dialogue in the years to come, we finally express our gratitude to the Embassy of Canada for reviving the legacy of Marshall McLuhan, who is a popular thinker in academic circles. But perhaps what really matters more than McLuhan's legacy is how such legacy is personified by the acts and deeds of the journalists who espouse truth, freedom, and justice. To this end, we call our panelists and reactors on stage to receive our certificate of appreciation. Let us give a hand to Christian Esguerra, Ellen Tordesillas, Manny Mogato, Kimberly Quitasol, Frank Simatu, and Professor Cecilia Faye Santamaria Abalos. We would also like to call on stage Mr. Carlo Figueroa, Public Affairs Attaché of the Embassy of Canada, and Mr. Jimmy B. Fong, Dean of the College of Arts and Communication, UP Baguio. We call the reactors and panelists on stage as I read our citation. Our citation reads, "The College of Arts and Communication, University of the Philippines Baguio, awards this certificate of appreciation to Christian Esguerra, Ellen Tordesillas, Manny Mogato, Kimberly Quitasol, Frank Simatu, and Cecilia Faye Santamaria Abalos for serving as panelist or reactor during the 2023 Marshall McLuhan Forum Series on Responsible Media, held at the Teatro Amianan, University of the Philippines Baguio, given this 24th of March 2023. Their certificates are signed by myself as the chair of the department and Professor Jimmy Fong, Dean of the College of Arts and Communication. We would also like to award the certificate to Mr. Carlo Figueroa, the Public Affairs Attaché of the Embassy of Canada, for the collaboration he has made possible between the Embassy of Canada, the McLuhan Fellows, and the College of Arts and Communication of UP Baguio. Again, we express our gratitude as we sustain this meaningful dialogue in the years to come. Thank you and good afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating in the McLuhan Forum. We would also like to thank the UP Baguio USC CAC Committee and the UPB on-mic volunteers. May we request our guests and reactors to please clear the stage for the picture taking. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the UP hymn.